This is the Louie T Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Louie? Yeah.
Overtime. So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football. Overtime. Dolphins. Ravens. Dolphins. Ravens. Week number 8 in the National Football League. Hey. I'm sorry. I didn't see this coming. And as I was getting ready to go live, the Dolphins just threw another pick six. I'm sorry. Oh, let me compose myself. Welcome to the program. If you're a Dolphins fan, all I can say to you is, oh no, we suck again. And if you're a Dolphins fan, you know what I'm about to say. And you've been watching me for any amount of time. If you watched any of my videos this year, then you pretty much know what I'm about to say. And I don't chalk this up to anything other than that Dolphin shit. What more you want me to say, man? That Dolphin shit. This is why I can't get down with the Miami Dolphins. This is the epitome of the Dolphin shit that I'm talking about. When I say that Dolphin shit, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this is the prototypical Dolphins performance. Just when you want to jump on board, just when you want to stick your toe in the Dolphins' water to test it out, this is what they do. That water is hot as shit. It will burn the skin off your toe. No, don't get in the Dolphins' water. It's shark infested. Don't get in the Dolphins' water. Don't do it. And I always tell myself, don't do it. And every time, like a dummy, I feel like Tom on Tom and Jerry. I fall for the same damn tricks every damn time with the same damn team. And I don't understand why I do this, because I know better. Which is why I say this is that Dolphin shit. This is why I know better. So I should do better. But I still don't. I fall for it every time. Like the banana in the tailpipe. I fall for it every time. Like that rake on the floor, on the ground, running around the corner, and I'm going to step on it. It's going to smack me in my face. I fall for it every time. Damn it, man. When will I learn? This is that Dolphin shit. This is the Dolphin shit I'm talking about. 40-0. The Ravens can't score 40 points in 4 weeks combined, and you give up 40 points to the Ravens? Jesus Christ! You gotta be kidding me. And you know what the funniest thing is? It was a number of us dummies out there. I being one of the biggest dum-dums. You know, raise your hand if you've heard this before. You know what? I really like Matt Moore. Jay Cutler? I don't know, man. Maybe Matt Moore should get a chance to start. Maybe. You were hearing that around Dolphin circles after the comeback last week. Saw what he did last year when he had to come in relief of Ryan Tannehill. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. In this league, backups have a great way of showing you why they're a backup. Sometimes we need, as fans, as delusional fans, we need just a little small reminder of why a backup quarterback's a backup. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes the legend of a backup quarterback grows to these legendary heights because they don't play. And the starter isn't always your favorite guy, and that backup is sitting right there, and he's shiny. His uniform is clean, and you're like, man, if we put in fill in the blank, he got to be better than our starter. So you think. But then what happens when you actually have to put in fill in the blank? In this case, Matt Moore. They go and show their ass. And then you get that little friendly reminder, that little tap on the shoulder. Hey, man, Matt Moore's a backup quarterback, bro. Don't you forget about it. Oh, Jay Cutler stinks. Oh, yeah, hey, look. Say what you want about Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler's a starter. Jay Cutler's not losing 40-0. Hey, Jay Cutler might lose 24-0. Jay Cutler might lose, I don't know, 26-0. What was the score in London to the Saints? I don't remember what it was, but it was somewhere in the 20-something to 0 range, something like that. It wasn't 40-0. But look, we're splitting hairs here. You still got your ass whooped, right? But, you know, this is that Dolphin shit. I could probably just say that the rest of the night and not say another thing about the Dolphins and just make a bunch of noises, and then when I'm done making noises, make some faces, then say, that's that Dolphin shit, and just move on. And if I'm not mistaken, we got to watch these bastards in primetime again. The last time they were on primetime, they got their ass shut out versus the New Orleans Saints. This time they got their ass shut out by the Baltimore Ravens. And they got to play the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, next week on like Monday Night Football. Something to that effect. Do you want to see this? I damn sure don't. I don't want to see this. And somehow, remember I asked this question last week, and I'm not going to make this all about the Dolphins. They're getting their ass whooped. And we like the losers worry about losing on this program. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on the Dolphins. But remember last week, I asked this question after the Dolphins beat the Jets. And I said, how are the Miami Dolphins 4-2? How? Why? How? Then I looked at their schedule. And I said, okay, Chargers week 2. Remember, they didn't play in week 1. Chargers week 2, before the Chargers figured out how to find ways to win. Okay, wasn't pretty, but they got the W. Then you lose 2 straight in ugly fashion. Should have gotten shut out by the Jets. Did get shut out by the Saints. Then you turn around and somehow, some way, you magically win a game against a Tennessee team that had no Marcus Mariota, which, okay, go figure. If they had Mariota, if Mariota would have limped out there on one leg, they would have won that football game. But he had to sit out. They get Matt Cassell, and they find a way to win. Okay, whatever. It was an ugly game. Hard to watch. Medusa, hard to watch. But they won. Then the next week, somehow, some way, they go to Atlanta, and I don't know, don't ask me how, but they muscle up enough strength to get a win on the road after trailing 17-0 in the first half. So they get to 3-2, and you're like, oh, that was a fluke, whatever. They go home, and you're like, well, they should beat the Jets. They were down 14 in the fourth quarter, 28-14, before rallying and scoring 17 unanswered points and winning that football game 31-28. So they end up at 4-2, and you're like, wow, Dolphins are playing pretty good football. And this is what they do under Adam Gase. They look inept at times, and then they turn around, they win 3 or 4 straight, and you're like, whoa, here come the Dolphins. And then they have a week like this where you look at Adam Gase, and he looks like the most clueless coach in the league, like he has no answers, like he's disgusted with his team. And you look at him and you say, this team is horrible. And they'll probably beat the Raiders next week, and they'll find a way to win another game, and then you'll look up, and they'll be 6-3, and you'll be like, how in the hell are the Dolphins 6-3? Let me explain it to you. That's that Dolphin shit. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me on this program. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. Want you to help us do that. by simply hitting the subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's YouTube. All of the links to how you can sign up or follow me and be a part of those social media platforms down in the description below of this video and every video for that matter that I have. And also, if you want to donate to the channel, there's also a way that you can do that. And it's via Patreon and PayPal. Now, Patreon is going to be the preferred method for most of you. And I'm going to have a video coming out here shortly on what you may get when you donate through Patreon. So keep a lookout for that, as that'll be coming down the pipeline here shortly. So the links that you saw before you a few seconds ago, they're also down in the description. So if you want to go ahead and donate, that is how you'll be able to do so. And again, I can't state this enough. I thank you for your viewership. I thank you for all of your support. And if you could take that support to the next level by donating to the Louie T Network, that would be greatly appreciated. For those of you who have already donated, thank you so much. And I don't care how big or how small. I mean, I've had someone donate $1. Look, that is great. You know, $1 goes a long way in the grand scheme of things when you're trying to build an empire. So I can't thank you guys enough for your support. And if you can give, please do. And if you can't, all I ask is that you continue to do the things that you've done to help further this channel along, which is watch, like, share, and subscribe to the Louie T Network. So with that being said, the game has just went final. Ravens win 40-0. And Ravens, after this game, now have gotten back to 500 on the season at 4-4. And if I'm not mistaken, they're 4-4. Trying to think. They started out the season 2-0. Yeah, they're 4-4. So I look at this Ravens football team, and I don't think this is a playoff team. I've said this enough times. They don't do enough offensively. This game is not, I repeat, not indicative of who the Ravens are as a football team. They won't score 40 points again this season. And there'll be a stretch of games, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 games, where combined they won't score 40 points. They still got that kind of football left in them throughout the duration of this season. And with the hellacious shot that Flacco took tonight, I mean, he could easily be out for next week's game. And I think it's a Sunday game against, I think it was a winnable game too. I forgot who they said they were playing. Maybe the Titans or someone like that. I got the phone right here. Stop being lazy and look it up. In any event, they got the bye week after that, so he won't miss that much time. You know, even if he doesn't play next week, if he's got to miss a game, he'll be able to rest up during the bye week. They'll have another week after that to prepare for their next opponent, and then he'll be back. So we'll see just how severe this concussion turns out to be. It looked like a hellacious shot. You knew he wasn't coming back. When he got up, Joe Flacco was in outer space. He was in la-la land. You look in his eyes, and he had no clue what the hell was going on, where he was at. I mean, he had one of these looks. He had no clue. If someone wasn't holding him up, he probably would have staggered all over the place. That was vicious on the part of Kiko Alonso. He's going to get fined. He may get suspended for that. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, he split the man's ear, knocked his helmet off. I saw an ear cushion off to the side. So it was, the helmet damn near exploded off of Joe Flacco's head. And he slid, he gave himself up, and Alonso came out of nowhere and lit him up. So he's definitely getting a letter on next week on Wednesday of a fine that'll probably be anywhere in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $50,000, depending on how the NFL wants to come down on him. And he may even suffer a suspension because of this. But the Ravens' next game is against the Titans. I was right. Look at me. So they're back to 500 on the season with this win. And I've said this for probably the last month and a half, ever since they got him. And Ravens fans kept swatting me like Dikembe Mutombo, telling me, no, 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 not in my house. Every time I would say, Alex Collins is the best back you got. I said that after his first game. I've always liked Alex Collins. This goes back to Arkansas when there was a three-headed monster at Arkansas with a trio of backs that was very talented. And Alex Collins gets drafted in the 5th round by the Seahawks, and I could never understand why. And I knew they had a crowded backfield, and they didn't really like Collins as much as some of the other guys. And he really didn't get a fair shake in Seattle. And so off he went. And he bounced around a little bit, and he landed in Baltimore. And I said, hey, you got yourself a hell of a running back. And with all the injuries, he got an opportunity. And I said, look, I know there's a little bit of a fumbling thing here with Collins, but if he holds on to the ball, he's the best back you got. Give him the rock. Okay? You can't score any other way. Your passing offense stinks. Your receivers, which you got healthy tonight at the receiver position, which I wasn't aware of. These Thursday night games suck because you never know who's playing, who's not playing, because they're smack dab in the middle of the week. You're not aware of who's up, who's down. It just puts a monkey wrench in your thought process as to who to pick in these games because you just don't know. I mean, Macklin makes a huge catch. And a healthy Macklin is a sigh of relief for Joe Flacco because I've told Ravens fans this for the last 3 years. Flacco needs three things really, to be effective offensively. He needs a tight end that he can trust. That's probably the biggest thing that Joe Flacco needs is one reliable tight end that he can go to in third down situations, a bailout guy, or as we like to call, a safety blanket. Most quarterbacks love a safety blanket as a tight end because you know he's big, he's going to be an inviting target, and on 3rd and 5, you know where to look, and you know you can force it to him, and he'll make a play for you. He's had those over the life of his career, whether it's been Heap, whether it's been Pitta, Nick Boyle, maybe could be that guy. With all the injuries, they were hoping Max Williams would step up. He's looking like a bust these days, but it's still early in his career. I don't want to jump to conclusions or not, but Boyle stepped up tonight, made some catches, run after the catch, jumped over a guy. Maybe he could turn into that guy. I've always said that the Ravens have done a great job of staying stacked at the tight end position, but when guys get injured and suspensions and all of those things start to take effect, it's hard to really get any continuity with your quarterback. But maybe Nick Boyle is the guy that can surface as Joe Flacco's reliable third down, chain-moving tight end. You know, a guy on play-action fake, bootleg, roll out like they did tonight, throw it to Nick Boyle. He can get you 6. He can get you 8. He can get you 12 if nobody's covering him. And number 2, he needs a veteran wide receiver out wide. We've seen it over the life of his career. And like I said, this goes all the way back to Derek Mason in Flacco's early years. That morphed into Anquan Bolden, which then turned into Steve Smith Sr., which now turns out to be Jeremy Macklin. The one thing I've always said with Macklin is you can't count on Jeremy Macklin for 16 games. You couldn't count on him in Philadelphia. You couldn't count on him in Kansas City. And as Ravens fans have found out already, you can't count on him for 16 in Baltimore. So I said, while you like Macklin when he's healthy, he's going to be a difference maker. We've seen him make plays for this Ravens team when healthy. He's not going to be healthy. He's not going to be on the field and available every week. So that's going to be somewhat of a problem. And if he's not available, what does Flacco have as an out wide target? He doesn't. So that's something else that's going to cripple this team. And then third, he needs a running game. He needs a running game, offensive line. I guess you could put those two in the same category, offensive line, running game. The offensive line has gotten better over the last couple of weeks. But the run game is something that kind of stabilizes this Ravens offense. It gives them the balance that they need. This isn't a team that is equipped with the targets at the skill positions to just line up and say, we're going to put the game on Flacco's back. He's going to throw it 51 times, and we're going to win the game 33-30. They're not equipped to do that. They don't have enough targets nor weapons to do that. So they have to run the football to be effective. You saw that tonight. Early in this game, they established a run, and I've said this numerous times. I said it already in this program. I'm going to continue to say this. Alex Collins is a good NFL running back and a guy that can be a difference maker. I said that when he got on this Ravens team. I said, oh, you got Alex Collins. I didn't know you got Alex Collins. He's going to end up being your best back. Watch what I tell you. And you're seeing that. And now Ravens fans kept telling, well, I actually like Buck Allen. I like Javoris Allen. I like Buck Allen. I like Javoris. Damn Buck Allen. He's a nice compliment back. He's nobody's starting back in this league. Alex Collins, however, is a difference maker. And you saw that tonight. And you've seen it throughout the season. Every game I look up, he's got 11 carries for 73 yards. I'm like, why didn't he get more carries? He's got 9 carries for 59 yards. Why didn't he get more carries? He's got 16 carries for 92 yards. Why didn't he get more carries? Well, tonight, he went over 100 yards because he got the requisite carries. The more he touches the football, the more Alex Collins can be effective. Now, the devil's advocate to that is the more he touches it, the more likely it is he's going to fumble at some point. Well, you take the good with the bad, but this guy brings a lot to the table that you currently don't have at the running back position, or for that matter, offensively. You don't have dynamic players offensively. He is one of them. You must give him the football. They threw it to him. They ran it with him, and he was effective tonight. And he was one of the catalysts for this ass whooping that was dished out to the Miami Dolphins in this game, 40-0. And so early on, they established the run. That took a lot of pressure off of Flacco. And then what do you know? Play action fake. You get 12 men on the field. Flacco takes a shot down the field. And a lot of people give Flacco a lot of flack. And yes, pun was intended there. Give him a lot of flack. And I've always said, get off of Joe Flacco's back. Now, I said Flacco has been awful this year. I'm not going to sit here and act like he hasn't been. But he hasn't had any targets. And that's what I continue to tell people. And they just dismiss that as if, well, it doesn't matter. He's still been horrible. Yeah, he's been horrible, but it's hard. I mean, outside of a select few, and I hate when people love to throw, the best of the best out there. Well, if Tom Brady had these same weapons, he wouldn't be as bad. If Aaron Rodgers had these same weapons, he wouldn't be as bad. If Drew Brees had these same weapons, if Ben Roethlisberger. Look, you're talking about Hall of Fame players, which Joe Flacco is not. Okay? Put a similar quarterback in the similar tier of quarterbacks in this situation and ask him to succeed and see if he does. Stick a Andy Dalton on his Ravens football team and see if Andy Dalton's succeeding. Stick a Alex Smith, who actually is playing at a Pro Bowl-esque level right now, but stick his ass in this offense and see if he's having an MVP caliber season. Okay? Stick a Kirk Cousins in this offense and you see if Kirk Cousins is shining like white diamonds. Hell no. Okay? You could stick 15 NFL quarterbacks. Hell, I'd venture to say you could stick 25 NFL quarterbacks in this offense and they would suffer. They would sink like they've got an anvil attached to their ankle, just like Joe Flacco has done for the vast majority of this season. There are only a select few that can raise and elevate the level of play of others. You saw Carson Wentz do it on Monday night. You've seen him do it just about all season. There aren't many of those in this league. Flacco is a product of his environment. This is a bad Ravens football team offensively. And when guys like Jeremy Maclin and Bashad Perriman, which even when he's healthy, he's not a difference maker, but at least you want him on the field. When those guys aren't healthy, and all of a sudden you have to turn to Chris Moore and you got to sign Griff Whalen in the middle of the season and you're asking Joe Flacco to go out and ball and you want to scoff and laugh at Flacco when he goes 11 or 27 for 76 yards when he's throwing to Griff Whalen and Chris Moore? Come on, man. Stop. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all all season. Stop. The Ravens, do they need to draft a quarterback? Maybe. I'm not against that. Sure, if you like a guy, because again, what you have to realize, what you got to take into consideration is just like a team like the Redskins. Everybody get rid of Kirk Cousins. You can't pay him that kind of money. Okay, well, what's your solution then? What you going to do? You going to start Colt McCoy? What do you want the Ravens to do? Start Ryan Mallett? Just like the Redskins, the Ravens are never going to be bad enough to get a number 3 pick overall, to get a number 5 or 7. They're never going to be bad enough. Even in the Ravens' worst season, they're going to win 6 or 7 games. They're not going to be a 3-13 team. John Harbaugh won't allow it. This defense won't allow it. They won't go 3 and 3. So they're not going to get a number 2 overall pick, a number 5 overall. So what do you want them to do? Fans are delusional sometimes. They say it like it's just easy money. Like you just go, they need to draft a new quarterback. Joe Flacco sucks. Okay. So what you want them to draft a quarterback at 17? Who's around at 17 that's any good? Would you want Deshaun Kaiser at 17? Who wants that? Who wants that? Huh? That's what you want them to do? Draft Deshaun Kaiser? I don't know. Want them to draft Davis Webb? Want them to reach for Davis Webb at 17 in the first round? The hell you want them to do? You can only pick at your spot. Now, if they trade, what do the Ravens possibly have that somebody else wants where you can trade up? Other than first-round picks. And teams don't want to give up first-round picks. Not when I already have a starting quarterback and his name is Joe Flacco. And, oh, by the way, he's won a Super Bowl. Who's doing that? So, I said all of that to say this. I don't want to go on a whole Joe Flacco rant like he's been, look, I'm not trying to be a Joe Flacco apologist, even though I have been for much of his career. Because I know when the game's on the line, Joe Flacco, he's going, turn into Joe. Cool. He's going to turn it up on your ass. You don't lead the NFL in NFL history in the most road playoff victories without being a damn good quarterback with ice water in your veins. You know how hard it is to go on the road and win in the playoffs? And Joe Flacco, not Joe Montana, not Tom Brady, not Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco has the most road playoff victories. No, not Troy Aikman. No, not Terry Bradshaw. Those are all Hall of Fame quarterbacks, by the way. No, Joe Flacco has the most road playoff victories. Go check your stat book. All I'm saying is, when Joe Flacco has targets, Joe Flacco's not horrible. That's all I'm trying to say. When Joe Flacco has a run game, Joe Flacco's not horrible. Was Joe Flacco horrible tonight? He had Macklin. He had a run game. Was Joe Flacco horrendous tonight before he got his block knocked off? No. And they were up 20-0 looking for more before he got, or up 13-0 looking for more before he got injured. They were going to score, whether it was another field goal or a touchdown. They were going for points. They were going to win this game regardless. So I said all of that to say this. I don't think this Ravens team is a playoff team this year. Okay? Despite the outburst tonight, they're still the Ravens. They still are going to struggle to score. Jeremy Maclin is probably going to get hurt once more and miss another 2 or 3 games before it's all said and done. So will Brashad Perriman, not as if that makes any difference anyway, whether he's in the lineup or not. The run game is going to be spotty. There'll be weeks where they dominate like tonight, like they did in week 1 versus Cincinnati, like they did against the Raiders. There'll be weeks where they dominate offensively, and then there'll be weeks where they don't, and it'll cost them. They'll probably end up 8-8, 9-7 if the ball bounces their way, but more realistically, 7-9, 8-8. And they're going to miss the playoffs. But that's going to put them right in the middle of the pack with the 17th, 18th pick in the draft, where you're still outside of the range of drafting a quarterback if that's something that you so desire to do. And so you're stuck. What do you do? What do you do? So I know a lot of people have been saying, draft a quarterback. Okay, sounds good. How am I going to do that? I'm not going to just draft a guy just for the sake of drafting a guy if I don't like the guy. Like, I want one of the best quarterbacks if I'm going to draft a guy with having Joe Flacco, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, on my roster. I better be getting a damn good quarterback. I don't know if you're going to get that at 18. So this was a good win for the Ravens. And they own the Dolphins, and I knew that. And I struggled with this game from the standpoint of I don't trust the Dolphins. I told you that. I said, I don't trust the Dolphins. I said, but I like Matt Moore. And I fell into the trap again. Silly me. Dumb, Louie T. I fell for the trap again. I said, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. It's the oldest trick in the book. Don't fall for it. I fell for the damn banana in the tailpipe again. Shame on me. And so I deserve it. I deserve to take an L tonight. I deserve to have egg on my face. Because just like most of you out there, I fell for the damn rake on the ground running around the corner and it smashed me in the face. Dumb. Damn Dolphins. Winning on primetime television. Who? Them? Couldn't be. Ravens dominate this game. The ground game was phenomenal. Like I said, I'm a huge Alex Collins fan. He needs more touches. If they're going to have any success, any prolonged, sustained success, I think Alex Collins is going to be a huge part of that moving forward. I've been advocating more touches for Alex Collins, less touches for Buck Allen, and you got that tonight. Now, I'm not saying phase Buck Allen totally out. There's a role for Buck Allen on this team. It's called 8 to 10 touches after Alex Collins gets his 20 touches. There's a role for Buck Allen on his team. But he should never supersede Alex Collins. Even if Alex Collins fumbles once, he should still have more touches than Buck Allen. So you saw Alex Collins have what my man AK dubbed a breakout game. And he didn't need to break out for me. I knew what he was capable of. That's why I've been really kind of singing his praises and trying to spread him out to the masses. But you saw him do what it is I think he can do on a week-in, week-out basis for this Ravens team. Give him a chance in the run game. Defensively, I was really impressed because last week I saw this Ravens team get run all over. I mean, they were dominated on the ground by the Vikings. They let Latavius Murray, who hadn't seen a 100-yard rushing effort since he was a Raider, go off on them. Bonkers. And the first carry of the game for Jay Ajayi, he runs and breaks off a 21-yard run. And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. Birdman hand rub. Here we go. Jay Ajayi for $150 tonight. Matt Moore for 2 touchdowns, and they win this thing 24-6. Here we go. Birdman hand rub. His ass might not have had 21 yards total the rest of the night. They turned out the lights on his ass. Turned off the Russian faucet. There wasn't even a drop coming out of that thing. They were in the backfield all night long. All night long. All night. All night long. All night. All night. They were in there all night long. Damn, I said, shit, Ladarius Webb, Tony Jefferson, they living in the backfield. Are they a part of the huddle? Are they on the Dolphins football team? C.J. Mosley? All of them cats living in the backfield. They might as well pitch the tent, got comfortable, because they were camping in the other side of the line of scrimmage. And so Jay Ajayi, he didn't stand a chance in this game. Didn't stand a chance. And once they took away I said this, and last week was an anomaly. Because Jay Ajayi didn't have a great game last week, but somehow, some way, they were able to win, which furthered the legend of Matt Moore. Which is why I was like, hey, they won a game where Jay Ajayi didn't get it done on the ground, and Matt Moore came in and threw touchdown passes. The legend of Matt Moore grows. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I said, if you're going to beat the Dolphins, stop Jay Ajayi. Stop him. Force whoever is at quarterback to beat you. Because most likely they're not going to be able to do it. And that's what they did. They got the Dolphins into 3rd and longs, and then they came after Matt Moore's ass, and he panicked. A couple of times he took sacks. A couple of times he threw it up for grabs. You saw a couple of pick sixes throughout the game. That's what you do to the Dolphins. You want to systematically dismantle the Dolphins, take them apart piece by piece. Stop the run game first. That's the first piece that you take apart. Once you take apart that, then you take apart their 3rd down offense by coming after their quarterback. And once you do that, they're going to give it up. They're going to give it up. And that's what you saw tonight. And credit to the Ravens defense for, after the first play of the game, turning off the faucet on that Dolphins rush offense and forcing their passing game to be the catalyst. And they just weren't in a position to do that tonight. Give credit where credit is due. That Ravens defense stepped up. They look more like the Ravens defense that we thought would be able to help catapult this team to a potential playoff situation. And I told you, I've been saying this for at least the last 3 weeks. I feel bad for this Ravens defense because this is a playoff defense. This is a playoff caliber Ravens defense. I've said that a number of times. Playoff caliber defense and a less than stellar offense equals you're just going to miss out on the playoffs. I mean, this is anemic offense at times. And if they can stay healthy, that's the key. If they can stay healthy on the offensive side of football, mainly Macklin, he's a difference maker. Flacco only needs one out wide and one at tight end. You got Collins and Buck Allen in the backfield. That's enough. That's enough juice back there to get it done. If Boyle can step up at tight end, and then all of a sudden, Macklin is that one veteran receiver that he can trust, you may have something. You may have enough to get you over the hump. We'll see. But it was an all-around ass thrashing by this Ravens football team. They just straight took it to the Dolphins. Cut off the head, the body will die. They ate dolphin for dinner tonight. And quote the Raven, nevermore. You know, they 40-0 though. Wow, I didn't see that coming. And I apologize for my outburst at the top of the show when I was laughing uncontrollably because I didn't see it coming. And why didn't I see it coming? Because as we move on to the Dolphins side of things, this is that Dolphin shit. And I've clearly stated over the life of this season what that Dolphin shit clearly is. It's this right here. 3 straight wins and then a performance like this. That's that Dolphin shit. And I'm not going to rant about the Dolphins. I've already done that. I don't really have a lot to say about the Dolphins. I will quickly say that you stop Jay Ajayi on offense, and this is what the Dolphins can be reduced to offensively. You know, I told you I like Kenny Stills. Jarvis Landry, I told you Jarvis Landry is the heartbeat of this team. What did he do tonight? Nothing. What did their offense do? Nothing. I told you if Jay Ajayi and Jarvis Landry don't get off, I told you Jarvis Landry and Kenny Stills are 1A, 1B at receiver for this team. And you got nothing out of Landry tonight. And I don't understand why. You know, Jarvis Landry to me is one of the best receivers underneath in this league. Short, intermediate passing game, yards after catch, he's outstanding. They tried to get him a screen early to get him involved. No blocking up front. He got smothered. Okay. That shouldn't stop you from getting him the rock, though. You know what I mean? And even if I got to get it to him on a jet sweep, even if I got to get it to him out of the backfield in some form or fashion, I'm going to get the football to Jarvis Landry because he's a gamer. He's a tough guy. He's the, like I said, the heartbeat of this team. As he goes, as Ajayi goes, so does this Dolphins offense. And you got nothing from both of those guys, so you get nothing on the scoreboard. You get nothing. You get a big nothing burger. And so it didn't surprise me that they struggled. What did surprise me, though, is that Matt Moore looks so bad. I mean, they were open receivers. He was throwing behind them. There was a third down where Kenny Stills is coming out of his break, and he's open over the middle of the field, and Matt Moore throws it 3 yards behind him. And Kenny Stills turns around and looks like, was that the football that just went behind me 3 yards? Yeah, that was the football, Kenny. Jarvis Landry's coming out of his break on an in-breaking route, and I don't know if there was a miscommunication. Maybe Landry was supposed to run an out-breaking route. Maybe he got held because he looked at the official like, hey, you're not going to call that? But he looked like he was breaking in. The ball went out, and I'm like, okay, I guess. What the hell was Matt Moore doing tonight? That didn't look like the Matt Moore that came off the bench and willed the Dolphins to a win last week. That didn't look like the Matt Moore I saw last year in relief of Ryan Tannehill lead this team to 2-1 down the stretch in a playoff berth. Dolphins defense. I was disappointed because you knew that the one thing you had to do was stop the Ravens' rushing attack. If you did that, the same thing could be said on both sides. The reason why both of these teams came in to this game as statistically 2 of the worst offenses in the league is because the same thing can be said for either team. You could take out Ravens and insert Dolphins with the same statement that I just said. If you stop the running game and you make the passing game beat you, you're going to have success versus the Dolphins. You take the running game out of the equation and force the passing game to have to beat you, you can have success versus the Ravens. It's the same thing. Stop the run game, make Joe Flacco in this anemic Ravens pass offense beat you. Well, you didn't do that. You gave up 5 and 6 a pop to Alex Collins and Buck Allen. Repeatedly. Buck for 6, Alex for 8, Alex for 5, Alex for 7, Buck for 4, Alex for 3, Alex for 6, Alex for 9, Buck for 4, field goal. Alex for 5, Alex for 5, Alex for 4, Alex for 7, Buck for 8, Buck for 4, Alex for 6, field goal. They can do that all night. You don't got to get but to the 40-yard line for Justin Tucker, a.k.a. Just Incredible, to bust a 58-yard on your skull. You don't need but so much. And you were going 3 and out and punting, and your punter is horrible. He's horrible. His kicks tonight were horrendous. Why don't you just give the Ravens the football 25 yards up the field? You didn't even need to punt. His punts were horrible. The Dolphins were just horrendous all the way around. You let them run the football down your throat. The one thing that you couldn't afford to let them do if you wanted to win, you let them do it. And then your special teams was horrendous. Where the hell is little mini-me, little mighty Mike? Where the hell is he going backwards for? What is he doing? Where are you going? The touchdown is that way. Why are you going that way? Where are you going? Anyway, Dolphins dominated in every facet of the game. In every fashion that you can imagine. And that's pretty much how it happens when you lose 40-0. How do you get shut out twice? Should have been 3 times in one season. God, you've got to be bad on offense. Well, the Dolphins are bad on offense. You know why? That's that Dolphin shit. Ravens get back to 500 at 4-4 with the victory. Dolphins drop to, what are they now? 4-3. God, why are they 4-3? They've got to be the worst 4-3 team in the league. It's a farce. Let's get to some comments, man. This is ridiculous. All right. Pepe, the YouTuber, says, why in the hell did I pick Miami? I deserve the piss cup for this. You're not the only one, Pepe. Most of us did it. I'm going to tell you right now, 80% of us did that. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. You're fine. Seriously, you're fine. Don't feel bad. Cloud says, didn't watch the game, but goddamn 40. Look, Cloud, let me tell you something. Don't put the losing score first, ever. All right? Females do that. Okay? Females go, oh, what's the score? Oh, is it 27-30? No, it's not 20. It's 30-27. You never put the lower score first, Cloud. Okay? Don't do that again. Andrew Kim says, Fins are some dirty ass cheeks, man. When AK starts talking some trash, some cold hard cash, you know your team is ass cheeks. They are, man. Because he expected his team to lose. He didn't even pick his team tonight. And this is what they put forth. Dark Sealer 1995 says, I still don't see the Ravens as a good team, but this Dolphins team is straight simply bunhole. I couldn't have said it better myself. They're pretty bad, man. Reese says, damn, Lou, that pick 6 to end the game, shit was hilarious. It was, and that's why I couldn't stop laughing. Like, I'm watching this as I'm about to go live, and I had the little scroll bar going across saying 33-0. And as I'm about to go live, Jimmy Smith is running down the sideline, zigging and zagging into the end zone. And I'd like, really? I'm going live at 33-0, and you're going to make it 40-0? I said, you bastards, you dirty bastards, you. So I just couldn't get enough, man. It was hilarious. I agree. Andrew Kim says, of course, I don't pick my own team to win, but saying Moore was even close to Cutler is a travesty. Yeah, I deserve that. You know how the guy in basketball raises his hand when he gets a foul because he knows he fouled a guy, and he just raises his hand when they blow the whistle? Yeah, it was me. I'm raising my hand. I'll take that foul. That was me. Dark Sealer 1995 says, the Browns be looking at the Dolphins like, we know the pain. Yeah. But the Dolphins, at least they can say we won 4 times. Look at the left-hand column. You know, that's the travesty in all of this is they can get embarrassed like this and they still won 4 games. How? Yet my Redskins are 3-3 and desperate for a win, and these boys got 4. I tell you, boy, this league is harsh, man. Anwar Muhammad says Dolphins just can't beat the Ravens. They can't. And I knew that. The last 6 out of 7 times these two teams played, the Ravens have won. And not just won, they've dominated. And some of them have been on primetime television. I've seen this before. I know how this movie ends, and I still did that. I'm ashamed of myself, honestly. Andrew Kim says, Kiko and Sue are so dirty. Surprised there were no ejections, but there should be fines coming. Let's talk about that because I got lost in all of the ass-whooping talk and that's that Dolphin shit and Ravens scoring 40 is the Kiko Alonso hit. So let's talk about that right now. I'm glad you brought that up because Sue has a reputation that has followed him. I don't think he's been as dirty in years, but he is he's mean as hell on the football field. And Ndamukong Suh is mean as shit. Like he does things for no reason, and no particular rhyme or reason. It's just because. You know how you say, I want my offensive linemen to be physical and nasty and play to the whistle and maybe even a little bit beyond it? That you're describing Ndamukong Suh, all right? He's the guy that he's going to hit you, and he may push your helmet down into the grass to help him propel himself up, just to get up. Just a little extra sauce on top when it's not necessary. You know what I mean? He's the kind of guy that he might step on your fingers when he gets up. Maybe he saw, maybe he didn't. Who's to say? But that's Sue. Kiko Alonso, I don't know if he's dirty or not. All right, I don't know if there's a track record that precedes him like Sue. I do know that was a dirty play. Okay, I think he saw his shot and he shot it. He took it. He said, "Look, I'm going to shoot my shot. We got one chance to win this game. Take Joe Flacco out and get Ryan Mallett in this game. I'm going to shoot my shot." He shot it. It went in. Boy, did it ever. Now, it was 13-0 at that point. And if they could have held for a field goal, I still thought they had a shot. When they gave up that touchdown, I said, there's no way you're scoring 21 points tonight. You're not scoring 21 points tonight. And Ryan Mallett stinks. And he may not help this team score many more points. But you're surely not scoring 21 points. Now, 17, that's doable. 2 touchdowns, a field goal, that's doable. You're not scoring 21 points tonight, though. And so when they gave up the touchdown, I said, all of that went in vain, buddy. You're going to get fined, hefty, fined, maybe suspended, and it's going to go for naught. But that was a dirty play. There's no place in football for that. Flacco clearly gave himself up. Alonso knew Flacco was giving himself up, and he decided to take the man's head off anyway. Helmet came flying, split the man's ear. That was bleeding all over. Joe had no clue where he was. I hate seeing that. That's garbage. And like I said, there's no place in football for that. That's how you get a man hurt. And in 30 years, when somebody's talking about memory loss, it's because of plays like that. And there's no reason for that. None. None whatsoever. And so if Kiko gets, he's going to get fined. That's a given. If he gets suspended, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I really wouldn't. Because that wasn't a football play. That was dirty. So, and for Sue to, and you know how it is, you know, the Ravens are going to come to the aid and to the defense of their quarterback. And so for Sue to come up and do what he did afterwards, but that's what players do, not just Sue. That's not a Sue issue. That's what teammates do. You're not going to come and jack my guy up and think I'm not, even though he was wrong. We still going to stand up for him. So, and that whole thing escalated. And then late in the game, there was another little scuffle, little brouhaha. That was just the Dolphins getting their ass whooped. And they just say, you know what? We're not going to take it. No, we're not going to take it. They were tired of taking that ass whooping. They just said, we're not taking it anymore. And so that's all that was. But in any event, Cloud says, I picked the Dolphins, unfortunately. 85% of us picked the Dolphins. So, again, don't feel bad about that. Andrew Kim says, Brandon Williams' second game back. Brandon Williams made a difference even though the Fins offensive line can't block for shit and Jai was contained. I thought Brandon Williams actually had an impact last week. But it just so happened that the Vikings still made plays. But that was pathetic there. Dusty in 1995 says, as Mario would say, Lou, Mamma Mia! Oh, no! Yeah, that was pretty bad, man. Savage Raven says, love the win. I want my QB back. You have to love Collins. I've always said that Alex Collins was going to be the best thing the Ravens had at the running back position. And I think he's slowly but surely winning Ravens fans over and proving that he's the best they got in that Ravens backfield. AK says, the cat on the field had me dying. I think any animal that runs onto the field and starts running around is going to be funny because they're going to zoom in, show it in slow motion. Always seems a lot funnier than what it really is. But in any event, Brandon Sullivan says, between 1990 and 2015, the chance of being shut out in the regular season was 3.2%. In other words, 7 to 8 games a year are shutouts. The Dolphins being shut out twice this year, that's that Dolphins shit. Couldn't have said it better myself. And really, that's been an epidemic this season. Remember, last week alone, we had 3 shutouts, which is crazy. I don't recall 3 shutouts in a week ever. And of course, it's happened before. I just can't remember it. Doesn't happen in this day and age of the passing league and, points galore. Points have been down this season, and teams have been finding it tough to score. And we had 3 shutouts last week, and the Dolphins have already been shut. And they should have been shut out 3 times. Can you believe that? They scored on the final play of the Jets game the first time around. They should have been shut out versus the Jets. Andrew Kim says, Collins looked legit. Too bad he couldn't score his first rushing touchdown. And I really hope Flacco is cleared for next week because there's no way the Ravens win without him. For as much garbage as Ravens fans and NFL fans talk about Joe Flacco, he's the best thing they got, and he gives them the best shot to win. And AK just summed it up best. Without him, they're going to look like the Titans did against the Dolphins 3 weeks ago, where the Titans were inept and lost a game they had no business losing to the Dolphins because they didn't have Marcus Mariota. If Joe Flacco can't play next week versus the Titans, they're going to lose that game, and it's a game that is very winnable. But because they don't have their starting quarterback, they're not going to win that game. Simple as that. And that's the worth Joe Flacco has to this Ravens football team. Buffalo pregame says, Matt Moore versus Ryan Mallett. That's what America wants to see. I knew this was going to be a bad game. I just thought it was going to be bad on both sides. I didn't know that the Dolphins were going to say, nah, we got this. We'll take all the bad. Ravens, you go ahead, do what you do, and you guys hold it down. I thought it was just going to be bad all the way around, but I thought 49ers and Rams earlier in the season was going to be bad family business, and it turned out to be an epic game. So I kept my mouth shut this time. But last week, when we saw that epic Chiefs Raiders game, we were in the midst of that, and they kept showing previews and promos for this Ravens Dolphins. I'm like, I don't want to see that shit. Spare me. But I said everybody deserves a turn. Let's get it out the way now. Better late now than later on in the season when games matter, and we don't really want to see that. But you're right. That's exactly what America wants to see. Pepe the YouTuber says 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and that dolphin shit. Yeah, go ahead and add that to the list, man. You can guarantee that. Deron Johnson says, great win. Hope Flacco comes back, man. We all hope Flacco is okay and is cleared next week, man. Like I said, no place in football for that shot that he took tonight. Ed says, this is an embarrassing loss. Flat out, I'm in disgust. I'm happy we got a mini bye because they need to find themselves. Yeah, this is as bad as it gets. To lose 40-0 to a team that, like I said, has found it tough to score this season. I don't know if they've scored 40 points in their last 4 games combined. I know they scored 16 last week. I'm trying to think. I know that Steelers game where they scored like 9 is in there. I don't remember what they scored 2 weeks ago, who they played against. Trying to recall. Hey, like I said before, I got my phone right here. Stop being lazy. So I'm gonna pull up. I'd venture to say though that they might not have scored. Okay, I lied. So the last 2 games they got 40 points total. They played against the Bears and scored 24, and they had the Vikings game, and then they even scored 30 against the Raiders. So I stand corrected, but that's not who they are. The Raiders had a backup quarterback, and the defense had no corners in that game. Both of their starting corners were out. That's why they scored 30 points in that game. The Bears, they made some plays in that game. And Mitchell Trubisky threw it like 7 times. Or I think he might have thrown it 11 times in that game or something like that. 7 against the Panthers. But nonetheless, this is not what they do. They don't score 40 points. But hell, they scored 30 before, so I stand corrected. In any event, JCamMan99 says, I decided to come back from my Week 8 picks. 1 down, 12 to go. He said, JCamMan also says, this entire season is crazy. Any given week, anything can happen, and I love it. I think we all love it. That's been the running narrative this season, is that any given Sunday, any team can get it at any time and anywhere. Nobody's house is sacred. Even the Patriots getting dusted off at home. Nobody's house is sacred anymore. You know, and that's fun. It's fun to see teams have a chance. Dartzilla 1995 says, Miami looked good last year at the end of the season because the offense ran through Jay, and he said he hasn't been good, been going all year, and the offense is one-dimensional and bad. And that's what I said. He's had his moments this year. The first game of the season for them against the Chargers, he went over 100. They won. The game against the Titans, he went over 100. They won. The game against the Falcons, he went over 100. They won. It's not rocket science. When he plays well, they win. That's why I make the statements that I make. Because I watch these games, I see the outcomes, and I see how they are reached. And when the only game they won this season where he didn't have over 100 yards was last week versus the Jets, which is an anomaly. Because he had 50 some odd yards rushing on like 20 something carries. And I'm like, whoa. And they still won. This isn't supposed to happen. This is not what the Dolphins do. But I chalked it up to Matt Moore. And so I said, I'm on the Matt Moore train again. Matt Moore said, hey, I'm giving you one more chance to get off. You don't want to get on this train. We are about to head straight on for a nasty collision with straight ass garbage trash. You sure you don't want to get off? I was like, nah, shut the doors. Let's go, man. You're good. You're playing the Ravens. They can't score. I said, okay. I warned you. Head-on collision. Bah! Got me again. Reese said, ass whooping is an understatement. This was annihilation, victimization. Agreed. Darksealer 1995 says, this game can be summed up in 4 words, Lou. He said, throw the damn towel. Yeah, they did at the end. They just said, all right, let's just get out of here. The Black L.A.B says, very true, Louie T, with the Flacco role playoff stat. I was astounded when I read that myself last week. I've been telling people this for years. Joe Flacco, say what you want about Flacco, okay? Look, he's not the best regular season quarterback. I will give you that. I've already said that. But I said, and I've been on board with this, when the game's on the line, regular season, postseason, doesn't matter. Joe Flacco is in a different class. There's only a few guys in this league that I'd take over Flacco. And at one point in my NFL professional football watching career, there was a steady point. There were years there where I was like, I'm not taking anybody. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, I'm not taking anybody over Joe Flacco with the game on the line. And I've kind of cooled off on that. You know, Aaron Rodgers at the end of the game, you saw what he did to the Cowboys in the playoffs. You saw what he did to the Cowboys this year. Aaron Rodgers is a different animal. I don't know about that anymore, but yeah. Flacco's still in a class that is very limited. It's a very exclusive class of guys that late in a ball game, you won't find guys better than. Ed says, we seriously need to have Jay Ajayi going and the offense, especially in the first half, because if we don't, we're not going to win ball games that way. Jay Ajayi is the key. I've said Jarvis Landry and Jay Ajayi are the key to the success of the Dolphins offensively, and more specifically Ajayi, because what that does is it opens up the passing game. If he's running effectively, he's getting chunks. You have to respect the run game. Now those linebackers are committing. Now you're getting Jarvis Landry wide open over the middle of the field. Now Kenny Stills gets one-on-one with the safety, one-on-one with the corner, and he can win a deep ball. Then you see those big shots down the field. Then you see the chunk plays for the Dolphins offensively, and all of a sudden they're scoring points. The run game is the key to the Dolphins offense. You guys are hilarious. Reese says he cracks himself up. I'm reading your stuff. You're funny. Not really. It's all good, Cloud. I'm warning you. That's all. Yeah, don't reverse the numbers like that. Reese says that hit by Kiko was straight up cowardly. He's a sore loser. I hope he gets suspended. He very well may be suspended for the next game. And that was, like I said, there's no place in football for that. Dark Sealer 1995 says, at Football Life, Miami Dolphins, the sewage plant of Miami. Lucas Cotton says, that was vintage Ravens presentation. Too bad I don't think with Morning Wig they will continue to do it. I don't see that happening either. Reese says, Matt Moore, more like Matt No More. Jerafel Design says, man, this game will be summed up by one term. That's that Dolphin shit. Exactly. I've coined a phrase. Let's run with it, man. Reese says, the most important points you've seen put up by a team in one game. Lou, I saw the Saints beat the Colts 62-7 once. Was that a regular season game? I remember seeing the Jags beat the Dolphins 66-7. And it was like Marino's last game of his career. It was bad. I hated to see Marino go out like that. It was a playoff game. But in any event, that's going to do it for this one here. What a debacle. Ravens 40, Dolphins 0, zilch, zip, nada, love. But there was nothing but hate for the Dolphins on this night via the Baltimore Ravens as they get it done and get back to 500. Big win for them. You know, I don't think a lot of people saw this coming. And now you're 4-4. And in a conference, in a division where I think things are still wide open, I still think the Steelers are the class of that division, but you never know. It's been a wacky season. You never know. But I don't think they're going to win the division, but hey, wild card is always in play. And so I've said this a number of times. I'm going to continue to say it. This is a playoff caliber defense in Baltimore. 2 pick sixes on the night. C.J. Mosley playing out of his mind this season. Jimmy Smith with a pick six. This is a good defense. And when they play like this and they run the football like they did tonight, they're a tough team to deal with. And so we're going to see if the Ravens can continue to be consistent on the ground with the ground game, protect the football, score points, even if it means you field goal a team to death. You've got one of the biggest weapons in the league in Justin Tucker. Just incredible. Use him. And if you got to beat teams 16-13, so be it. Is the defense capable of holding teams down that way? We're going to see. But this was as dominant a performance as you can have against another team. 40-0, Ravens get the win. And for the Dolphins, simply put, that's that Dolphin shit. As they now drop to 4-3 on the season. It's going to do it for your man Louie T here on Louie T. I was about to say Louie T Live on Thursday Night Football overtime. Ravens 40, Dolphins nothing. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. I will see you on Sunday. Keep your eyes peeled for that promo video for Patreon. But in the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy college football. Enjoy NBA basketball. Enjoy whatever you take pleasure in enjoying over the weekend. And we'll reconvene on Sunday. Until then, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. I'll see you on Sunday when we get into the rest of the slate of games in week number 8 in the National Football League. I'll see you then. Have a good one.